Hello, this is Jules. This video uses concepts that I've described in previous videos, so I'll include a link to the Start Here playlist in the description below for you to use as a reference. The metaphor I'm about to describe is an alternative to the more common metaphor of a center of gravity that moves along in a more or less constant forward progression through the stages of consciousness. The more I experience the spiral, the more I feel that it is not a linear progression. The stages of consciousness don't seem to really be like phases that a person passes through, never to return to again. It's not quite that clean and neat. They're more like a series of map locations in an exploratory role-playing game. Imagine a game with a map where the different locations on the map can only be unlocked in a certain sequence. Let's call the first location beige, the second purple, the third red, and so on. Each location on the map is a vast area that you can explore with its own quests, monsters, puzzles, according to the theme of that location. Every quest you complete, every monster you slay, and every puzzle you solve rewards you with skill points, power-ups, tools for your inventory, etc., many of which are unique to that location. You start in the beige location, and you have to explore it a bit and maybe fight a few low-level monsters to find a key to unlock the purple location on the map. Once you've found a key, you can proceed to the purple location. Then you need to explore the purple location for a while, maybe do a few quests, fight a few higher level enemies, etc., until you find a key to unlock the red location, and so on. The thing is, though, this is an exploratory game, so there are many more quests and monsters to slay than necessary in order to find a key to the next location. If you want to do a speed run through the game, you can totally do that and unlock locations super quickly and get really far. Farther even than most players ever get. You'll just miss out on a bunch of content doing it that way, so you won't get all the power-ups, skills, and tools that you would have had otherwise. Or you can spend as much time exploring any location on the map as you want to. The more quests you do and monsters you slay and puzzles you solve, the more power-ups, skills, and tools you get from the theme of that location. And this is the part that I think is really neat, once you've unlocked a location, you can always go back to it and do more of its quests, slay more of its monsters, and solve more of its puzzles to get more of its cool stuff. In fact, sometimes you'll unlock a new location only to discover that you don't have a certain skill or tool that you really need there. So in order to be able to progress in the game, you actually have to go back to a previous location to get that skill or tool. So really, consciousness progression doesn't usually look like this. It's much more likely to look something like this. Okay, and now just for fun, I'm going to explain this map that I drew of the spiral dynamic stages because I think it's really neat and makes a great metaphor. Tier 1 is an isthmus with narrow land bridges to represent how insular each stage is in Tier 1. And then Tier 2 is a large continent with giant open areas, all contiguous with each other, to represent, one, the sheer vastness of what is available to explore in these stages compared to Tier 1 stages, and how daunting they can look, and two, how easy it is once you've unlocked these regions to then just sort of wander around among them. The Beige Plains are a large area that starts off the map and may in fact actually be a continent. It has grasslands and coastal caves. This is where you start the game. You probably live in a cave most of the time to protect yourself, so you don't see much of anything other than the many dangers that you're protecting yourself from. But it is possible to cave hop in a direction that eventually leads you to see Purple's resources and safe-looking village. Purple is a jungle. The path leads you to a cozy village with traditions and wise elders to teach you the way to live safely. It's good that your village knows the right way to live, because there are some other villages here that look savage and wrong, and probably dangerous. From here, you can see Beige's unprotected desolation, a high castle in blue, which looks lofty and unattainable, green, but you assume it's more purple, and a path out of the jungle that leads to red. Red is rocky and harsh, with volcanic activity. Your path goes to a noble camp of brave, heroic warriors who can train you to be strong, which is good because there's another army here that looks really vicious and scary. From your camp here, you can see the scary purple villages, Orange's waste, the harshness of which looks normal to you, an evil-looking blue castle, and the good-looking blue castle, which looks like it could protect you well from all the surrounding dangers. Blue is filled with glorious mountains. The path leads up to a beautiful, divinely sanctioned castle with a formidable fortress wall protecting it. Another mountain holds another castle that looks evil and wrong. From your high mountain, you can see Purple's rich resources beneath you, which really should be controlled by your people and used properly. Red's scary army and volcano, both of which look threatening. Red's noble army, which really should be brought under the government of your people, both for their protection and for yours. And Orange City, which at first looks chaotic and threatening, but then, as the unyielding fortress wall around you begins to feel claustrophobic, Orange City starts to look more intriguing and liberating. Orange City is an innovative, thriving, industrious city that welcomes all to come and try to make their way. With a little hard work and moxie, anyone can be successful. From Orange City's shiny skyscrapers, you can see Purple's resources, which look tantalizing and mostly uninhabited from here, Red's brave heroes fighting their enemies, Blue's restrictive fortress wall, Port Yellow, which you assume is an extension of Orange City, and Green's eco-village, which looks distorted and crazy weird through the smog. But if you venture further, Green turns out to have lush green valleys, beautiful temperate rainforest, and a thriving, diverse eco-village that welcomes people of all kinds. Here you are valued just for being you. From your community here, you can see Orange's waste, Red's threatening volcano and evil army, and Blue's oppressive fortress, all of which look like they're in the same direction, so they're clearly all really the same problem. You can also make out Purple's lush forest, which beckons to you with its familiar and homey-looking village. Some Turquoise Peaks, which are probably just more green territory, and a narrow, long, and somewhat hidden land bridge through the trees. If you follow it, you discover Port Yellow, a vast, intricate, shining, self-sustaining solarpunk city. It seems to have absolutely everything. You could spend lifetimes exploring it. And it has a port where you can finally get a boat, so you can now visit other stages much more easily. From the shore, you can see everything that came before. And in the distance, you can see that there's other land here, but from this side there appears to be a pervasive mist that is difficult to see through. If you push your way through the mist, you will eventually find the Turquoise Peaks and a spiritual ashram at the top of a high mountain. It requires a lot of climbing, and the journey feels lonely. But once you reach the pinnacle, the air is clear, and there's a powerful telescope here for seeing great distances. Within its small but clear lens, you can see all the confined regions of Tier 1, the busy complexity of yellow, the coral desert, a beautiful, intriguing, and intimidating Teal Lake in the near distance beyond the coral desert, and even glints from Plum's confounding black and white crystals and the awe-inspiring expanse of the Aubergine Tundra in the distance. The path down from your mountain looks steep and treacherous, but if you take the risk, you will find yourself in the coral desert. Your path leads you to a simple hermit hut. There is a terrifying expanse of nothing here. The only things you can see are a giant mirror in front of the hut, in which everything that came before is reflected back at you upside down, and a vast, deep, serene-looking lake past the mirror. If you are able to face both the nothing and the mirror, and push your way through your deepest fears, you may be able to make your way to the shores of the Teal Lake. Swimming out into its cool waters, a balm after the desert, you find that you sink like a stone, and that the lake has no bottom. This does not trouble you, though. It feels serene and wonderful. You feel the lake loves you unconditionally, and you realize that you are an extension of that love. It is very tempting to get lost in the lake and let it absorb all of your attention. If you do manage to find the other shore, you will discover Plum's crystal field, a seemingly endless forest of stark black and white crystals. The black and white crystals are all you see now. Everything is reflected in their facets, and you realize that this is all there ever truly was. You may find yourself sitting perfectly still here, or wandering aimlessly. It matters not. There is no meaning. However, it is possible that you may find yourself exiting this forest of crystals onto the Aubergine Tundra, a vast expanse that goes off the map. From here, you see that the Aubergine Tundra is where you always were. Everything else was a dream. But it is possible to wander, if you so desire. If you wander enough, who knows? You may find that the map wraps around in some manner and becomes the Beige Plains in the next game.